Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus, and welcome everyone on YouTube. Thank you for watching our live stream. This is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director of 10 Minute Trades. We're here for the U.S. Jobs Report. Please remember that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. I'm not a financial advisor. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so please trade carefully. Okay, good morning, everyone. Let me know that you can hear me and see the screens. And we're going to get started right away. Can you hear me and see the screens? Okay. So these are the elements that make up the news that we'll be looking at this morning. We've got non-farm payrolls. They're expecting 187,000. Last month, it was 216. With the Fed doing everything that they've been doing, what they are looking for is 187 or a little bit lower is what the Fed wants to see. If it's higher, then that delays their rate cuts even more. And the unemployment rate is important. The average hourly earnings is a key number. And they look at, they look at all the elements of the report. I'm going to keep it open off to the side. So let's look at the DMM, the Daily Trade Report. And definitely gold is the hardest instrument to trade on this report. It can whip like crazy. It can also return significant profits because of the size of its moves. And don't forget also that margins are increased on this report. The way that Ninja Trader is doing it, most of us are Ninja Trader brokerage customers. If you just go to their margin page, when they raise the margins, it should show up on their margin page that the margins are up. Okay, so you don't have to guess anymore. They're doing it automatically in real time on their page. So here you have the most recent DMM. Last month was a big winner. We'll look at the video. December was a whipsaw, a crazy whipsaw in December. But you could see gold is 50-50 with an asterisk in August. I do remember that if you use the software, if you're going to trade gold on this report, if you're going to, you absolutely want to use the feature in the software, target one stop move. So let's say, for instance, you are going to set up your gold breakout, okay? So the feature in the software that we talk about a lot is target one stop move. So you have to be trading two contracts to use that feature. Because obviously, if you're only trading one and it hits target one, your trade's over, okay? Let's not make it more complicated than it is. But if you're trading more than one position, when it hits your first target, move your stop, to break even -2, break even +2, move your target somewhere near your entry, around the entry. So if there's a quick reversal, like we saw on Apple earnings yesterday, you'll be able to make money if your fills are all good, right? If there's if you look at Apple yesterday, it's the perfect example of how target one stop move can save a trade. So let me show you what I'm talking about, because it did exactly what I'm saying. Apple was a whipsaw, but it was not the fastest whipsaw, and it was big. So it was able, watch. Now, look, when you look at the candle after the news, That's a candle that if I didn't see the trade, I would assume I lost money. That would be a lose money candle. However, we used target one stop move. Like I said, it's a feature in the software. And I had mine set to, I believe, break even plus a few ticks because my first target was about 29 ticks. I had a pretty medium, a decent sized first target. Not so much for earnings, but see how fast it pulled back. But I had a profit on that trade. It hit my target. Target one stop move protected my Apple trade from being a loser. It was easy for that trade not to work if you tried to move your stops and targets by yourself manually. You didn't have enough time. Gold on this report can really whip around. So if you're trading gold, I don't think too many people probably are, but if you decide you are, just use the target one stop move. In fact, I would recommend using the target one stop move in general, whatever you decide to trade. I'm just thinking in terms of maybe a reversal of some sort with micro gold. Anyway, forgetting that for the moment, let's take a quick look at what happened last month. We have November in the same video, so let's look at November also. So here was November. And November, I was trading bonds on the left. I was watching gold on the right. And bonds had a decent trade. I'd say a good trade. And it was in profit. And again, it does do a lot of reversing. So, but bonds were profitable. Bonds definitely worked. Gold, and this was November. Gold, gold often has, look at the pre-volatile, pre-movement. Gold can scare you out of this trade. It does have potential volatility before the news. Not unusual. But gold had a tradable move and it kept going also, ultimately. Quite a big move on gold. And December, however, was a whip. Let's see what happened. So bonds on the left, gold, watching gold on the right. You can definitely trade ZF. Absolutely, ZF can be traded. 6E can be traded. You know, keep in mind the euro is whippy like gold. There was a lot of slippage in December, and that was part of the problem. I was able to get out with a tiny profit on bonds, and it really, gold was a problem. Bonds was not. Bonds, if you traded it well, there was an opportunity for profit. Gold, on the other hand, had a whip. Watching gold again, just gold can be tough. This was December. And there was a January trade already. Yeah, we're in February. You can't even see the whipsaw in gold. It happened so fast. It's that whole wick would have filled you at the top of the candle and then immediately stopped you out. It would have been instantaneous. Instantaneous. Okay, looking at ZN, and we're activating at 8:29:58. And the bracket is 7. It could be 6 or 7 in my opinion. And then targets on ZN. And remember, we've got margins are raised this morning. Margins are up. Margins are up this morning. Profit target 1, anywhere between, I'd say that you could use anywhere between 5 and 20 ticks of profit on bonds would be fine. And then the stop is 12 on bonds. And you could, you can trail if you want to. If you want to trail, you just turn on trailing stop mode, right? Turn it on if you want to trail. And then choose method is tick for tick. And the number of trailing ticks should be 1. I'm going to use target 1 stop move. Break even -1. That's how I'm going to do it. And make sure that your account warnings are turned off if you're trading live. So it's a breakout trade. We're triggering 8:29:58. Bracket is 7, stop is 12. Targets anywhere between 6 and 20-ish. And then use the target 1 stop move if you so choose. Okay? You don't have to do what I tell you. And then I'm labeling the trade ZN breakout. And then I always check the width of the brackets by setting the time to 0, making sure everything is on sim. Okay, there's our brackets. I think there's going to be a pretty big response to this report. I do think there's going to be a pretty big response to this report. John, I have not finished the schedule for next week. There's mostly morning earnings, not afternoon. It's not an afternoon earnings schedule. Disney, we'll be doing Disney. Definitely Monday morning, we'll have earnings. Tuesday afternoon, we'll probably have Snap. I haven't decided about Uber yet on Wednesday. There's not a ton that are worth it next week. That's what I got so far. All right. So, any questions about possible setups? Also, don't forget, setups that can work. The NQ is going to move on this report. That the ES moves on this report. We know the Euro moves on this report. If I were trading indexes, something like the NQ, I would use a very large bracket, more than 40 on the NQ. But I'm definitely, and the paranoid's not the right word, mindful that the NQ can have a very large move. So let me double check my strategy, just put everything back to normal. It's going to trigger at 8:29:58. 8:29:58. And trading live. By now, I would say the margins should be raised. By now, the margins are up. Okay. Margins are raised. Margins are raised. And you can double check by going to the margin link, which is the following. Now, if you go down to, for instance, now it looks to me like right now they're not up yet. Oh, they don't raise gold. So forget what I just said. MNQ not up yet. Margins are not raised yet. Not at the moment. They are going to raise them. They are going to raise them. AMP has already raised their margins. Right now they're normal. They can do whatever they want, okay? But they will increase the margins for cash accounts. So keep that in mind. Okay, so watching micro, I think what I want to watch, let me just get myself set up. One more check, 8:29:58. I do want to thank everybody watching us on YouTube. Hey, hit that like button on YouTube. We'd really appreciate that. 8:29:58 on the trigger. Stop is 12. Bracket is 7 on bonds. And I'm going to watch regular gold, GC 0424. Let's say you wanted to set up a reversal trade or a continuation trade using our strategy. You just click on reversal trade, and all you need for a reversal is a position, a target. I'm using a target of 30 and a stop, and I'm using a stop of 30. Turn off your account warnings so they're not enabled. Apply it. Okay. When you enable a reversal trade or continuation trade, you get buttons. If you get gold going down to the PP low of the day area, that might be an interesting place to change direction. Gold just selling off at the moment from the high. And it is now the gold open. That's what you're seeing there, is the gold market opening. Okay, the gold market opens. So no one will hit the like button on YouTube. Come on, folks, hit that like button. We would appreciate it. Let's check our time sync. Make sure time is in sync by going to the website. Time is, and it is. So gut feeling about what's the news going to be. I think that they're going to have more jobs than they want. I think there's going to be more jobs than they want. What do you think? What does everybody else think? More jobs. So they're looking for 187. I think they get 205. I think there'll be 205,000 jobs created. But I have my news off to the side. All right, so we can watch the chart. And last month, NFP was January. And here's what happened last month. Gold on the right, bonds on the left. And tried to increase the target. Gold had a real nice move. Bonds had a very nice move. A very nice trade just in general last month. And looking back into June, just because I happen to have a video here from June. Here's June. And June, tiny profit in June on bonds. Very whippy in June. Gold. Sometimes when we test gold, if we didn't actually trade it, we can't always tell what happened. We can't always tell what happened. That was a pretty fast move on gold in June. All right, Fred predicts 180,000. That would be good news. Anybody else have any predictions out there? Anyone else alive out there besides John and Fred and Roz? That's about it. Oh, I guess people are talking. Frank is alive. Gray is alive. All right, so we've got about 4 minutes to go. October, last video. October. Hits the first target and pushes through. And a big move in gold in October also. So this report unequivocally has good potential for a good move. Always. it almost feels a little bit like this report has lost a little pizzazz. I don't know. It seems like this week they have not been paying as much attention to it as they have been paying to earnings. That's what's shaking things up a little. Not shaking things up, but taking a little bit of the bloom off the rose, so to speak. I think that there's been a lot of attention on big tech earnings, and that's been getting a lot of the press. And especially because yesterday it's a little bit unusual to have three of the biggest tech companies in the world having earnings on the same day. That is a little bit unusual. And that's what we saw yesterday. All right. And I never really commented. AJ had an amazing trade on earnings yesterday. I think he made $1,800 in his prop account on Amazon. I don't know if AJ is here. I don't see him being here this morning, but he had an amazing prop account trade. And that shows too also the difference in the data feeds, where in real life you might have some slippage on a cash feed. Prop accounts are not live cash feeds, and there's not the same amount of slippage. So it was kind of interesting to see that. All right, we have a minute and a half. Yes, it does depend on the firm, but the great majority of them are using, not really using cash real accounts. I've seen a couple of ads where a few companies claim that they're not doing that, but I have not. It's not any of the popular companies that I've seen. All right, we've got about 30 seconds. The brackets will show up in a couple of seconds, 2 seconds before the news. Way higher than expected. I'm trailing my butt off here. Trailing, trailing, trailing. Probably too close now. I increased my target. Not much more I can do. Trailing. All right, $406 cash money, real trade. Uh, Definitely not good news for the very bad news for the markets today. This is not going to be a good market day, in my opinion. On that reversal trade, I would be careful because of the numbers. I'd be careful because of the news. From our state of mind here, I cannot imagine that anyone should have lost money. I don't think anyone should have lost money on this trade if you traded our setups. Let's get a roll call, please. How about a roll call? Uh, John, really nice, really nice. John, are you trading cash? Are you trading cash? Live, I mean? Are you trading live? Very carefully, yes. I understand. Um, totally understand. That's the rule all the time. Very carefully. All right, very nice, John. Nice trading. Who else? Let's get a roll call. Doc, another great prop, another great prop. So, Roz, why would you not trade this trade live? I don't understand sitting this one out on bonds. That one I don't agree with. I don't agree with that. You should have traded that live. Um, it's been performing really, really well on bonds. Really, really well. Okay, okay. Margins on bonds are not a problem. They're not, I mean, and this report, look, lesson learned, lesson learned. That's all. Brian, okay. Brian, you got your cash account going now? BC. All right. You know, BC, I'm trying to think who you are. I can't remember who you are by your initials. Um, I'll have to look you up. I have to look you up. Brian, great to see you back trading. Brew, you're new. Your H is your last name, right? Bruce, you're Bruce with an H last name. Okay, good, good. I realized your emails were going to my spam, but one of the problems that we had communication problems in the beginning. Your email was going to our spam because the nature of the email, if you understand why I said it, so it doesn't go to our spam anymore. Okay, and one of the most common things that new people do, forget to activate the trade. So look in the folder in our trade room, and this is especially for new folks, in the folder is a file. Download it today and use it in the beginning. It's called pre-trade checklist. And it goes through, and a bad person, I should go through the pre-trade checklist every time. Every time. The pre-trade checklist will go through every step you need to take. All right. So you don't forget. You don't forget. That's great, Brian. This was a great trade to start on cash. Great trade to start on cash. Because Roz, think about it. You took a whole heck of a lot more risk trading a discretionary trade, I think. Um, anyway, but see the reversal difficulty today, everyone, because of possible intensity of the news. Now, I want to thank everyone on YouTube. Maybe if you're kind enough on YouTube, everybody that traded made money in our trade room. Um, here is a link if you want to join us. Let me get the right link, Chantal, and then in a couple of minutes you can close YouTube, but I want to give them this link. Go Trade 2024. This is a link to join us with our holiday special. You can't go wrong. It's a steal. Okay. And I want to thank everybody for watching us on YouTube. We'll stream again next week. WASD probably. WASD's next week. All right. So let's see. Gabe, traded GC prop. Now, Gabe, you might have lost in the prop account because the speed of gold and maybe the prop is that Apex? Is that Apex? It's the end of the week, Roz. I think you're good. I think it's Thursday. I'm pretty sure it's Thursday. So you should be good for WASD. Yeah, it's Thursday. And look at this. No reversal today. Let's look at the news. The problem is way too many jobs. Way too many jobs. So Gabe, Chantal had the same problems with Apex on breakouts. Same problems on Apex. Uh, which prop accounts allow news? Top Step allows it. Buell Knox allows it. Lilu allows it. Okay. This report, very honestly, has been trading great. Now, look, you could have done a continuation trade. Remember, you can use instant short. You don't have to use the reversal feature of the trade. You can use the instant short. Okay, you could use it as a continuation setup. So the problem is the economy is still pretty strong. The Fed's trying to kill it, but they can't kill it. They can't kill it. There's jobs out there, and there's decent paying jobs out there. You know, the minimum wage has been raised in so many places. I'm thinking of going to work at McDonald's. You can make some good money at McDonald's now. I'm seriously thinking of going to McDonald's. I always wanted to work in fast food. So here's the news, just so everybody could see what's going on. Here's what's been going on. Uh, the private non-farm, they were way up. The non-farms way up, almost double what expected. That's really bad. Unemployment rate down again. All right. Um, average hourly earnings are up, and that's good for people if earnings are up, right? And but it's probably not good for inflation. But there's no stopping prices. You know, there's lots of strikes. There's lots of union activity. You know, price pay is going up for many people. Pay is going up for many people. So I do want to thank everybody on YouTube. We're going to shut down our YouTube stream, and we'll probably be streaming next Thursday at noon. So you can check us out again. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button on your way out, and we'll see you next week on YouTube. Thanks for watching. And then anybody have any questions here for us? Any questions? So a good trade, another good jobs trade. The jobs report. What did did anyone trade the NQ? Calvin, are you here? Calvin? Where's our NQ traders? Looks like the NQ might have gone up a tiny bit. Now I would have said, remember I said I would have used like a 40 or 50 bracket on the NQ. And let's assume, and I'm just assuming this, let's say it moved up the wick 5.25 to 1175, 6 points. So that's only 27 ticks. So my 40, 50 tick bracket would have kept you safe, it looks like. And the NQ moved over 300 ticks, Chantal's telling me. 300 tick move. Maybe we'll go back to adding, maybe we'll add the NQ back in. Gold, and look at the move. I mean, gold had a monstrous move. Let's look at the video. Let's look at the video. Yeah, and 300 ticks for NQ is normal. That's right. This trade can be crazy. It could be crazy. But these are the trades that we live for, right? This is the trade. It's the main trade that the company got started with. This was like one of the main trades that we got started with. It's the history. The company was built around this trade. I'm sorry again that I didn't trade ZB. I should have traded ZB. Let me just save the video. Now we do have one more event. We do have one more event. Now, finally, you're getting a change in direction here. Look at where it changed, though. Isn't it always so interesting? Right at the PP, which also is very close to the low. So it's a magnet, right? It pulled the price into it eventually. It almost made you think that it wasn't going to do that first. The market did its magic in torturing you with this one candle. It goes and tests the PP, breaks it, creates a creates a new low, and then makes it look like the reversal is starting. That could be torture, right? Then it goes and tests the PP again. Those areas of support and resistance are always fantastically interesting to trade around. Anyway, let's look at the video. There's nothing better than having a good earnings trade because it sets you up for a nice weekend. The next event, um, well, we'll talk about it at 9:30. Okay. Watching gold first. Gold kind of did its choppy thing before the news, but you could see that our bracket was way big enough that it should have been fine. Gold trade looks like it was fine. And then bonds, you had some slippage with bonds. There's no question there was some slippage, but not monstrous, but it was not tiny because we got filled, somewhat down the candle there. And then looking at the NQ, pretty amazing. I'm sure the ES probably looks the same. ES, awesome trade also. Perfect trade. Why was it such a good trade? Because the news was so bad. The news was so bad. And yet the markets are fighting off that bad news. And the markets are not negative. The markets are fighting off the bad news. So who knows? I haven't been listening to what they're saying on TV. So I want to thank everybody on YouTube. We're going to shut down that stream now. So take care, everyone. That link, hold it. Let me fix it. Let me fix it if that link didn't work. Let me get the right link. Don't shut it down yet, Chantal. Let me get the right link for the sale. GOTRADE. That should have worked. It didn't work. Go trade. Oh, we might have changed that link. Hold on one second. Bear with me. I'll get the right link for everybody. Give me one second. Bear with me, folks. Okay, here's a link that will work. Same thing, just a different link. You can leave it up for a minute or two, Chantal, so people can copy it. That should work, folks. That should work. Let me know if that one doesn't work on YouTube, please. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody have any questions? So we'll be back. We'll be back at 9:30. All right, everyone. We'll be back at 9:30 for revised University of Michigan. So I'm always happy. If you made some good money, send me a screenshot. I'll make an extra video this week. I'll make an extra video. All right. And again, thanks everybody for watching on YouTube. We really appreciate it. And I don't see any questions. So we'll be back in less than an hour for our final event of the week. Okay? So everyone, I'll see you in a little bit. Heat up your coffee, and then we'll be back. Okay, everyone. Good trade. Great jobs report. See you all later.